Dr. Jeffrey Halstead has been Canandaigua's hometown dentist for more than 35 years, offering routine dental care as well as cosmetic dentistry, implants, and dentures by their highly trained and experienced staff. Visit them online at canandaiguadentistry.com or find them on Facebook and Instagram.
Hello, everybody. Welcome into the FL1 betting podcast here on FanDuelRace1.com. Paul Russo here, Kyle Evans, Jim Sinicropi as always as well. Got some stuff to recap. Week 1 of the NFL in the books, our picks from the week, week 2 picks, and I don't know if there's really any takeaways to take away from week 1, but we'll get to that if there are. So, guys, how's the week been so far?
Yeah, it's been good. Excited for week 2 already here. Great divisional matchup on Thursday Night Football. Somebody mentioned earlier that I think the first 6 or 7 Thursday night matchups are divisional matchups.
Ooh.
And then it turns over to AFC versus NFC a little bit as the year gets on. So, yeah, I kind of like that layout. It makes the games a little more interesting on Thursday nights. We've had a lot of blowouts over the last several years of Thursday night games, and I don't think tonight will be a blowout.
Yeah, the first week of NFL football, on Sunday was great. I had a great day Sunday. Golfed in the morning and watched football all day, made a little dinner. 1 o'clock till 11 p.m. or whenever the Sunday night game ends. So it's good.
Can't beat it.
Nice change of pace.
Yeah. All right, let's get to our week 1 picks for the NFL. And there we are. Jim, you caught a little bit of the me-itis from our week 1 overall selections and unfortunately rolled an 0 for 3. And
of course the Rams game goes to overtime.
Yeah.
So you would assume that would be a win. But
right.
anyways, a lot of averages.
And I can't believe El Asico went over 35.5 despite the best efforts of Kirk Ferentz, but there you are with that as well. Kyle, 1-1-1 for you. Got saved by the push, quite literally on the nose there with the 47 in that Chiefs game with the Ravens last Thursday night.
I got saved by inches. If Isaiah Likely is in, that's the difference.
It's true. And then the Cardinals, you were spot on with that as well, figuring they'd keep it close. So then we needed the week last week for me. So the law of rookie averages worked out into my favor.
Yeah, and the Titans game should have been a win. I mean, come on.
Yeah, that was brutal. I can't believe people watched that game. Anyway, week 1 in the books for the NFL. Don't know if there's really any takeaways. I know there was stuff on the field that maybe gambling-wise, betting-wise can come into play later on. I know it's the lowest through the air that the NFL has been since 2000, and it's the second most rushing yards in a week 1 since that time as well. Maybe plays into more of the over-unders than anything else, but that was really the only takeaway I was able to see numerically speaking from week 1.
I think NFL teams, coaches like to feel like they have control. So, it seems like whether early in games or early in seasons, they're trying to run the ball because it makes them feel good and keeps them comfortable. But as a game goes on, it opens up. As the season goes on, it opens up more. I don't really read too much into that, but yeah, it was. I look for trends, but 1 week's not enough for a trend.
Yeah, I guess my little small takeaway, even though it's week 1, is 9 of the 16 games are 1-score games. A lot of teams did have opportunities to come back and win, or as we saw, actually 3 teams came back from double digits for just the 3rd time in an NFL season. So, it's just week 1. It's hard to take away anything from it, but at least we got some entertaining games in week 1.
One thing I'd learn, or maybe would recommend, is live betting. You can live bet now. Mm-hmm. So take that Rams game for example. Detroit was up 7-0 early, I think. Yeah. And I placed a live bet at that point. Rams plus 7.5 and a Cooper Kupp anytime touchdown, and it hit. So I lost a straight up bet, but I actually made $25 on the game because I put that bet in, because I really believe that the Rams were, on par with Detroit. And so just because Detroit scores the first touchdown, so you can find a lot of teams that get down early. I mean, the Bills last week would have been a great example. I don't know what the line was when they, with 5 minutes left in the first half, but I guarantee it was heavily positive money for Bills on the money line. Mm-hmm. So, if you're going to sit there and watch, these games, it's a good idea to take advantage, I think, of live betting.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where even for me, I don't do it so much on the pro side, but I do it a ton on the college side, just because the game swings so much. And not saying that the NFL doesn't. I think it's just more of the generalization that we're trying to say, right? Is like if you're watching a game and you see something going on, right, jump in if you think you can go ahead and jump in on something that you're intrigued by and know that you can maybe squeeze a little extra cash out on, All right. Other than that, that's really all I had from the past week. It's been quiet-ish, give or take. There hasn't been a lot of movement. The beauty, I guess, as it stands right now when we come live with you guys is normally whatever the lines we got at this point tend to usually stay within about a point, maybe a full point depending upon movements. So week 2 of the NFL's here. It's week, 3 of the NCAA season. So definitely some options here to go with this week. First time all year I get to do it myself. I will go first, I guess.
Okay, let it rip.
Too. First one comes from the college side of it for me. I'm going Tulane plus 13.5 at Oklahoma. This is not a really great Oklahoma team. I think if you're going to give me more or less 2 touchdowns on them, I'm going to go ahead and take it. Maybe hopefully for the sake of, in the real life element of this, get a little bit closer to kickoff time on Saturday at 3:30. Maybe I'm able to get an extra half point or something like that.
Or wait till the game starts and Oklahoma scores first.
True. That's true. But for the sake of the picks, we're locking in Tulane with 13.5.
Yep, I'm with you.
This is, I've taken a page out of your book, Kyle, on this one. I'm going to Mike Evans anytime touchdown against Detroit on Sunday. Showed up in week 1 with the Buccaneers, and I think they'll continue that going against the Lions. And then I'm going Chargers and Carolina under 38.5. Both those teams obviously didn't score a ton. One looks certainly better than the other. And I'm going to lock in with that. I'm going to jump in here really quick. We aren't going to lock these in, but if you want and you're intrigued by sprinkling stuff and a little bit of localized action, NASCAR's at Watkins Glen this weekend.
That's right.
I'm perused a couple things here. One line that caught my attention is in the top 10 category for the Cup Series race on Sunday, and that'd be Todd Gilliland plus 600 for a top 10. Ran top 10 there last year. He's a good road course racer. Those are some pretty, in my mind, long odds for a guy who more than likely will be sniffing the top 10 all weekend. So that's where I'm liking that. And then if you want to get really even more on a sprinkle, Tyler Reddick plus 800 to win. So.
And you'll be there for Finger Lakes 1?
Yep, I will be. I'll be in turn 1 sitting-wise anyway, but I'll be doing some coverage stuff as well. So looking forward to that. All right, Kyle, you are next in line with that 1-1-1 record last week.
Yeah, speaking of Chargers, I'm taking the minus 5.5. I just think the Panthers are that bad.
Yeah.
I know the Chargers didn't score a lot, but I think they get it done. And something else, they haven't met since 2020, and they haven't really played each other that many times in history, so kind of a weird matchup. And then I'm going to take the Ravens minus 8.5. They lost their opener. Or they lost the season opener. Now they're home. The Raiders couldn't score against the Chargers defense last week. I think the Ravens roll in this one. So, yeah, minus 8.5. And I think the Jets get back on track. They're playing the Titans. We saw what the Titans did last week. I just think the Jets are due for a nice little win. So, give me minus 4 there.
Well, luckily for you, it's a lot like last week. I'm going to spare you. I have it as 3.5 right now on FanDuel.
Okay.
So
give them the extra half.
Be the FanDuel number there. All right, Jim, all you.
All right. So nobody picked any of my picks, so now I got to pick out of these 5? Well, I'll tell you one thing I'm doing
Yeah.
is I'm going to take the under in the Iowa game. It's 39, Troy at Iowa.
All right.
Like, when's the last time that 2 Iowa games in a row have gone over?
That's a good point.
Like, is it like 1957 maybe? So, anyways, and if I win this, you can expect me the following week to bet the Iowa under. If this doesn't, then I'm off it.
I respect it.
So whatever.
Yeah.
Okay, so now I got 4 NFL games to choose from, 2 from. Well, you know what? The game I like the most is the Rams plus 1.5 at the Cardinals.
Okay.
I'm on the Rams for a second straight week. I basically picked them right last week, but got the loss. Game goes into overtime. They're 3.5-point underdogs. So I'm sticking with them, and the Rams have won 10 straight times in Glendale. 10 in a row, and they're getting points here. The Cardinals have lost 8 straight divisional games.
Wow.
So I don't know why the line's 1.5, but give me the Rams and 1.5 in a place that they've won 10 times in a row. Yes, the Cardinals are supposed to be better, right? And Connor or Murray haven't gotten hurt yet. Maybe they're, but I mean the Rams are the Rams, man. There's
no way the Puka injury is playing into that much.
You wouldn't
right?
think so. Maybe a half a point here or there. I mean,
Right.
But anyways, give me the Rams plus 1.5, and it's the lock of the week, maybe.
Stamp that.
So now I got to pick another one out of this list here. Is Jordan Love going to play? Because word is no. But there's some rumors that
It's
he
still
might.
up in the air.
Wait, really?
Yeah. Yeah, I thought he was out,
Yeah.
but then this morning I
Matt
heard that.
LaFleur said he hasn't ruled it out.
Right. So otherwise, I'd take the Colts minus 2.5. Malik Willis instead of Jordan Love, big difference. So anyways, we're going to lay off that game. And we're going to go... okay, I'm picking between the Cowboys minus 6 and the Saints. And I'm picking between the Steelers minus 2.5 at Denver. So obviously, Bo Nix was terrible in the opener,
Right.
and the Steelers' defense was incredible. And now you can imagine Bo Nix in his second game with T.J. Watt breathing down his neck all game. In that game, you can take the Steelers to score 2 defensive touchdowns for like plus 5,000. I mean, you're talking about sprinkling, maybe sprinkle on that. But anyways, then you got the Cowboys, who obviously killed the Browns on the road, and now they're home, where they're generally much better than on the road. And the Saints, beat up on that awful Panthers team last week.
Right.
And, Derek Carr just stood back there and did whatever he wanted. It's not going to be like that this week for Derek Carr. No. And Derek Carr under pressure usually doesn't perform too well. 6 points is a lot, but they're home. And I'm going to go with the Cowboys. You know why I'm not going with that Steelers game is because typical Steelers, to win an ugly game and then come back the next week against a subpar opponent and lay an egg. So, give me the Cowboys. I hate betting the Cowboys because I don't like them.
Right.
I hate betting Virginia Tech because I don't like them. I hate betting teams I don't like. But
I hear you.
So anyways, those are my picks.
All right. How about it? Yeah, I'm with you. I picked Dallas last week, and I was like, I hate my life.
I usually don't place these bets until Sunday morning.
Right.
But I did place a couple of bets this morning, and I teased the Bills to 6.5. How many games have the Bills not lost by 6 or more, Kyle? Like 1 million?
I think it was 44.
Yeah, 44 games. So take the Bills tonight, teased it to 6.5, and paired one of them with the Cowboys and another one with the Rams in 2-team parlays. The odds significantly go up, even though 6.5 for the Bills is like minus 260 or something like that. So, anyways, that's a couple things I did. But usually save my college betting until Friday afternoon and my pro betting until Sunday morning, or just let go live.
Yeah, there's There's so many numbers that favor the Bills tonight, like Josh Allen being 6-0 on Thursday nights, Tua not having a good primetime record where Josh really does. They've won 12 of their last 13 against Miami. They've won the games in Miami. Josh has thrown for over 300 yards in 5 straight.
How can they be 2.5-point underdogs?
I know. It's wild. And they were 3.5 favorites, I was told this morning, in that Week 17 game last year when the Bills went on the road and won to clinch the AFC
Right.
East. So they were favorites back then, but a lot of people said it was because they already had won 5 straight. So that's kind of what made that the difference. But
Maybe. I mean, I expect it to be pretty high scoring, but there's also the fact that Tyreek Hill doesn't have big games against the Bills.
yeah, what was the stat I saw this morning? He averages like 50-some yards during the regular season against the Bills. It's like one of the lowest against any team in his career. The guy that does hurt the Bills, though, is Jalen Waddle. He's had some of the biggest plays the Bills have given up in the last 4 years, I read earlier.
And who's missing for the Bills in the secondary? Can't think of his name.
Taron Johnson.
Yeah, so he's out, and so all right. So you got DeMar Hamlin,
Taylor Rapp's going to have a big night.
Taylor Rapp going against these guys from Miami, but
Or
still,
you get pressure on Tua and try to make him throw those interceptions and force him to do bad things. That's probably the only way they win the game.
well, that and can the Miami defense stop the Bills?
Yeah, I think the Bills are going to score easily, like they have the last 4 or 5 years.
Right. It's just a perplexing line.
That's why I think I really do want to take the over. I haven't done it yet, but I think
What's
the
that at?
48.5.
48.5? Yeah.
But then there was a stat that the last 4 games in Miami have gone under, but all the ones in Buffalo have gone over. So I don't know.
Doesn't make sense either unless you're talking about turf versus grass. They play in grass in Miami still, don't they?
Yes.
Like that Week 17, it was 21-14 final. Remember last year?
Yeah.
And then there was one game. Oh wait, I think that was the game. Didn't the Bills have like 450 yards and the Dolphins only had like 290? But it was still a game somehow because the Bills couldn't finish in the red zone. So the Bills have just dominated this team for so long, but then you understand the other side of it. Like, are the Dolphins due? Are they finally going to win
All
a game?
good things come to an end, right?
Yeah. So I don't know. That's why I don't really want to bet the game, but I do think the Bills are going to win this game. For some reason I have that thought, just because it's just how it's went, and I think Josh Allen will take over the game.
It's a big early season game. I mean, obviously, if the Bills win, they start out 2-0 and they're virtual locks for the playoff. And, well, I shouldn't say that. It's a long season in the NFL, but, if you look at the stats for teams that start out 2-0, especially teams that, have been to the playoffs for consecutive years, it's pretty high.
And then they get 11 days off after this game because they don't play till the next Monday. So this would be huge, starting 2-0, going into that kind of like long bye week, early bye week, and then you come out and you play home on Monday night against the Jaguars, who, just got beat by the Dolphins and only scored 17, which they should have scored more, but ETN fumbled. But
Well, anybody watching this on Friday or Saturday is going to know the answers already.
Yeah.
Because the game's tonight. But just one of the more interesting lines because everything else seems to point the other way.
I have a lock of the week. My lock of the week is Josh Allen over 1.5 passing touchdowns.
Just get scared if he ends up running them in instead, or let's say that James Cook runs one in, and then Josh Allen runs in 2 like he did last week. He's going to throw 2 more. Maybe he will. Yeah, I mean that does seem low.
He's done it in all 13 career games against Miami. He's never went under 2 touchdowns.
There you go. What's going on with these lines? Like that should be higher, but they always do the passing touchdowns at 1.5, 2.5, 3.5. So to go to 2.5, you might not get as much money on Allen.
His passing yard line is way too low. It's 242.5. Like I said, it's gone 300 plus in 5 straight, and I think he's never gone that low against Miami. 242. It's been 250 at minimum, and I think he throws usually 30, 40 times against Miami minimum. So I just don't see how that doesn't hit those two.
Yeah. This has been your Buffalo Bills betting preview show.
Hey, let's do one fun pick here before we get out. Bengals Chiefs.
That's a tough one.
5.5. It's a weird line.
Is T. Higgins going to play?
Yeah. Are the Bengals actually going to be as bad as they kind of looked anyway against the Patriots? Kind of doubt it, but
I don't know. Why not? They were terrible.
that's a good point.
I mean, the Bengals have tended to kind of have the Chiefs' number a little bit more than any other team, but week 2 is all about reaction to week 1, and usually it's an overreaction. But it's 6 points, that line.
5.5.
5.5.
So
Yeah, it's hard to imagine the Chiefs not easily handling that game. But
so we don't trust Joe Slim Shady Burrow.
well, boy, he was like the darling of everybody.
Yeah.
He always seems to be coming back from injuries. Like this thing is, last year supposedly he didn't live up to expectations because the injury was too new. And this year he's supposedly at 100% for the first time, since his rookie season maybe. But I don't know. I'm laying off it. I don't like any big lines. I'm surprised it took the Cowboys 6 points, but that seems like the Saints are in a bad spot.
Yeah, I don't know. I looked at this line a lot, and I'm second guessing because something tells me since Cincinnati does play Kansas City well, that they'll cover the 5.5. But then it's in KC, and I just feel like the way that Cincinnati's offense looked last week, I just don't know how they're going to keep up. I'm staying away from it. It's too.
No, I mean I'm staying away from it too.
I'm not even going to think about it. Yeah.
They set a good line, I guess, but we'll be kicking ourselves when the Chiefs are up 3 scores in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, it's possible. All right, I think that will do it then for today. Guys.
Golf is back.
Golf is back. That's right. I forgot about that.
It's been a long off season.
All 2 weeks.
It's the Pro Core Championship. I don't know what I do. As I mentioned before in the show, I think is I let the tournament start. And you pick somebody who's kind of in contention, but maybe 4 or 5 shots back, and and go with them.
Yeah.
For $10 to win, like sometimes 300-400.
Love it. Yeah, they'd the way the season is for those guys, no rest for the weary. There we go.
Yeah, especially if you're journeyman, or not a journeyman, but somebody that's like not guaranteed their card on the outskirts of the money, the FedEx Cup point list or whatever. You're trying to play every week you can. And there is also weeks where there isn't playing opportunities for these tour members now because of the elevated event. Right. So, the fall. I like the fall season on the PGA Tour. It's something to flip over to for a few minutes between football games on Sunday. Yeah. And these are guys that are literally playing for their professional lives usually. And so some good stories.
Oh yeah, it's always great. All right, guys. Good luck to your picks. Hopefully, we all come out in the next week in better shape than we came into it.
Yeah, nice. Especially me.
All right. Appreciate everybody for tuning in and listening. Subscribe to us here on YouTube. You can also find our podcast here on all major podcasting platforms. Have a great weekend, everybody. Good luck with your picks.